championship action. Tonight, it's the 1990 Southwest Conference Men's Swimming and Diving Championships. Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Chemis. Thanks for joining us. This year appears to be no different than the previous 10, in that the Texas Longhorns are well on their way to yet another Southwest Conference title. This year, they're going to make it 11 in a row. It's been a good race so far as the #1 ranked team in the country. Texas, a two-time defending NCAA champion, has not disappointed anybody with its efforts on the first two nights. Let's take a look at what's happened the first two evenings. There you see the standings. On Thursday night, Texas placed 13 swimmers in 3 of the finals events. And also a victory for the Texas Longhorns in the 400 medley relay. SMU with a strong showing on Thursday night. And then Friday night, Texas won 4 of the individual races and also won the 800 freestyle relay. The big battle comes down to third place tonight between Texas A&M, TCU, and Arkansas looking to jump in as well. With me now is Tracy Johnston. She will provide analysis for tonight's swimming events. And Tracy, when we look at what Texas has done, it's impressive, particularly that of one junior in Shaun Jordan.
Shaun Jordan is having a fantastic meet, and he's an outstanding swimmer. We will be able to see him tonight swim the 100 freestyle, where he is the defending Southwest Conference champion and NC2A champion.
Also for the University of Texas, they've had some other record-setting performances.
That's right. Kirk Stackle in the 200 breast set a record this morning, which was the oldest record on the books. Also, we'll see Jeff Thibault in the 200 back, who set a record earlier in the 100 backstroke.
The swimming portion has been dominated by the University of Texas, but diving belongs to SMU so far. Let's get some opening comments from our diving analyst, Kurt Anselmi.
Thank you, Joe. Tonight, we're going to have the opportunity watching the premier diver in the country perform. SMU's Scott Donie is a 3-time All-American and has won 10 Southwest Conference diving titles. Tonight, he'll be competing in the platform event and looking to add his 11th conference title to his long list of accomplishments. Scott is currently leading the Southwest Conference diving meet, followed by teammates Kevin Willis and Sean Briscom. You can see that SMU has an outstanding field represented here in the conference this afternoon. Tonight, you can expect the top 8 divers to perform their final 3 dives, and you can once again expect an outstanding performance out of all these divers tonight. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt. When we come back, we'll have our first event of the night, the Swimmer's Mile, the 1650 freestyle. Swim Center here in Austin, Texas, the campus of the University of Texas. The Longhorns here with an outstanding facility, the TSC, site of so many Southwest Conference championships and NCAA championships as well. We are in the midst of the first race of the night, the 1650 freestyle, the swimmer's mile, if you will, equivalent to really a marathon if you're going to be a jogger. But it's a swimmer's mile, 1650 yards of the pool. That is 66 lengths of the pool. As we look at our leader in lane 3 from the University of Texas, that is Andre DuPlessis, a senior out of Metairie, Louisiana, has been in control for much of the race. Here are the lane assignments. Carmichael of SMU, and then the Longhorns, Stallman, DuPlessis, and Saunier, along with Olson. Hundeby is a freshman for SMU, Mondello, and then Lotz in lane 8. This race has been essentially a one-man race from the beginning, Tracy, and that DuPlessis has been in charge.
That's right. He's keeping his eye on lane 6, Chad Hundeby from SMU, because he is such a strong swimmer. But Andre is so far out in front right now, I don't think he's worrying about that at this point in the race.
Earlier when it started, it was DuPlessis and Saunier. Olson was up, and Hundeby was hanging with him. But as we look at the wide shot, in lane 3 from the top down, 1, 2, 3, well out in front, is Andre DuPlessis, the senior for the University of Texas. There are the records that DuPlessis looks at. Southwest Conference mark, NCAA record time, and then the qualifying time, probably the most important time to watch in this event.
And he will have no problem making the qualifying time for the NCAA championships 3 weeks away. He's finishing up his race here, and he looks real strong coming in here. He's got 100 to go, breathing to both sides, keeping his eyes on the competitors. He's just trying to finish this out.
DuPlessis finished 7th in the 200 freestyle, improved to a 5th place finish in the 500 free, and is looking to win here. Last year, he finished runner-up to teammate Brian Cisna, so he was 2nd in 1989. He won this event 2 years ago in 1988, and then finished 4th his freshman year, 1987. So DuPlessis finally working his way to first place in this event.
That's right, and he's going to be glad to get his time, and with 4 laps to go, his unofficial split is 14.30.01. It's not going to hit a record, but he's going to come awfully close and have a great time.
Good crowd. There's the SMU swim team as they exhort their teammate, freshman Chad Hundeby, who is in lane 6. But this is our leader, Andre DuPlessis, as the gun goes with 2 lengths now for DuPlessis. Down and back for the senior from Metairie, Louisiana.
Andre looks so strong coming in. He still has high elbows coming into the wall. His turns are pretty good. He does breathe in and out both ways, which isn't real good right there. But he's keeping his eye on everybody else and on his last lap here.
DuPlessis bringing it home for the Texas Longhorns. He will touch in 15:05.74, and in second place, less than 3 seconds back, is lane 6, the freshman Chad Hundeby. As we look at our winner, Andre DuPlessis. Probably pleased with the effort, and again, he is well under NCAA qualifying time of 15:22 as he takes a look at the electronic scoreboard high above. The first 4 finishers, in fact, qualify under the NCAA standard of 15:22.24.
That was a great race for all of the competitors, especially the top 4. Those are all outstanding swimmers who will be representing the Southwest Conference very well at the NCAA championship meet.
This has been a good meet for the University of Texas. They come in with a lead of better than 100 points, 107, 106 and a half, if you want to be exact, as the Longhorns look for yet again another Southwest Conference championship. Eddie Reese has been in charge of the Longhorns here. This is his 12th year. Earlier, before tonight's finals began, we asked him his comments and just his general thoughts on this meet so far.
Well, actually, there have been some neat surprises. SMU's come into the meet and done an excellent job. They've qualified a lot of guys for the NCAAs. TCU and A&M are wrapped up in maybe the best dogfight for 3rd place we've ever had here, so it's made the meet fun. Added to that, we've had some excellent swims from our guys, which we needed to have. We'd gone all year swimming slowly, and then we figured this is our turn to swim fast.
They have swum very fast, and the Longhorns again in charge once again as we begin tonight with Andre DuPlessis, a winner in the 1650 freestyle, followed by Chad Hundeby, the freshman from Irvine, California, and now with the SMU Mustangs. 3rd place, Ethan Saunier of Texas, and in 4th, Matt Stallman of the University of Texas. Pretty good event, and again, they will look now. Hundeby, who finished 2nd, set California records in the 200 and 500 freestyle last year in high school, is also the national high school champion at 1,000 yards last year. So our next event is the consolation of the 200 backstroke. There are the lane assignments: King, Valo, Weaver, Cathy, Lewandowski, Rosner, Webb, and Kellum, as this again is the consolation finals of the 200 backstroke. First place in this event will net you number 9 total, and it's worth 9 points in the team standings.
This event is important to the Horned Frogs and the Aggies because they're in such a battle, and they both have 2 swimmers in this heat. So we'll keep your eye on those swimmers as well.
200 backstroke is 8 lengths of the pool.
We need to keep our eye in the middle of the pool because those are the fastest competitors where they swam this morning. They qualified from the middle on out.
Our leader in lane 5 is Steve Lewandowski. As we look at the NCAA qualifying time, that's the one that they're all shooting for at 1:49.19. They have not done that with their times coming in. And there's the coaches. That's perhaps the most important piece of equipment around here, is that the coaches keep track of their own swimmers out there and how they're doing.
There's Steve Lewandowski. As you can see, he was 4th place last night in the 100 backstroke, a super backstroker, and here trying to better his time in the 200 back. Going into the halfway mark, his time of 55.03 is leading the pack.
Lewandowski of Arkansas is a 6-footer. He is a junior out of Liverpool, New York. And again, he was 4th in the 100 back, and he's relegated to consolation finals here.
And as you can see his turn here, he's got excellent turn, stay underwater under the flags, which is real good, especially after the first 100.
Lewandowski well out in front, trying to get his Razorback some more points. There you get a kind of an idea of what he's looking at as he flips, turns, and heads gets near the wall. There's a better picture of it.
It's always easier to stay out in front when you're a backstroker because you can see your competitors. It's harder to come from behind because you cannot see how far they are in front.
Some of the teammates exhorting Steve Lewandowski of Arkansas on, the junior, will take this event, the consolation finals, in a time of 1 minute, 52.67 seconds. Not NCAA qualifying standards, but still a good win for Lewandowski as he finishes first and his teammate Kathy is second from Arkansas.
And he had quite an improvement over this morning's swim, so he's got to be pleased with that swim.
Take a look at it again as Lewandowski of Arkansas improves his time from the morning preliminaries by almost 2 seconds.
His head's moving a little bit, but he's got great rotations on his shoulders and places his hands in very well as he stretches for the wall at the end.
We will now have a presentation of awards for the 1650.
Taking a little bit of a swim down as Lewandowski will take a break as Steve Lewandowski will try to cool off after a first-place finish here in the consolation finals of the 200 backstroke. Coming up next, the championship round. That's what it looks like from up top here at the Texas Swim Center. Looking down on the lanes, you see the bulkheads on the right. That's a portable bulkhead as this pool is 50 meters long and can be adjusted as such for various events. Tonight, it's 25 yards long as we are in the Southwest Conference Championships. Our first event of the night was the 1650 freestyle, the swimmer's mile, and standing by with our winner from the University of Texas, our own Kurt Anselmi.
Great. Andre, a long race. You were in the lead from the very beginning. Was that part of your strategy?
My strategy was just to swim my own race. The way I usually swim is just I hold a steady pace throughout. I don't have a lot of speed, yet I won't die. So I knew if I just worried about my own pace, things would turn out fine.
Are you looking at the other competitors as you're swimming that, again, for 15 minutes?
Oh, yeah. Every lap, I'm scouting them out.
What point of the race did you feel that you needed to pick it up, or once again, were you keeping a steady pace throughout?
Constant pressure, as fast as I could go, smooth, without knowing that I would die.
Okay. Congratulations once again, Andre.
Thanks a lot.
And Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt, and thank you to Andre DuPlessis, the senior, as we take a look at the results. DuPlessis, the winner, and Hundeby, second place in this event. He was first in the 500 freestyle event earlier in this meet. Saunier, Stallman, and Olson for Texas. So the Longhorns improve on the first place in the team standings. But again, we expect Texas to win, and it would take a miracle for SMU to overtake the Longhorns at this point. So it's probably a given.
Well, it really is. Texas has swam so well, but SMU has put on a great performance here at the Southwest Conference Championships, and they're rated in the top 20. They're the 15th ranked team in the country, so they've put on a strong performance, and hopefully at the NCAAs they'll do just as well.
That is Jeff Olson of the University of Texas. He a fifth place finisher in this one. Olson also placing in the 500 free and the 200 free. When we look at the Longhorns, it's Texas, 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 and it's not so much that they're winning, but they have so many swimmers qualified for almost all of the final events.
Well, they have a lot of depth on their team to go along with the quality that they have, and that's what makes champions, and they should do very well at the NCAAs coming up as well as they've done here.
This will be the 11th straight Southwest Conference title for the University of Texas, and they're looking also, more importantly, at the NCAA meet in 3 weeks in Indianapolis. They are the two-time defending champion in that one.
They look real good on paper, but as their coach Eddie Reese says, they still have to swim in the water. It's a real tough competition, and they've got to be on top if they want to win the national championship.
On the award stand, exchanging congratulations, and they're waiting for this man, Andre DuPlessis, the winner in the 1650 freestyle. He won it in 1988, finished second last year to teammate Brian Cisna, and he's a winner again this year. As his time again, 15.0574 is under the NCAA qualifying time, and is also 11/100ths of a second faster than Cisna's winning time a year ago.
And that's a good indication because you always want to get faster, and the rest of the country's getting faster. So you have to keep up with your competitors around the country if you want to score at the NCAAs.
We are set now for the finals of the 200 backstroke, and there are our lane assignments. Kip Weatherwax, Ernesto Vela, or Ernie, Leif Wennerstrom, Jeff Thibault, who set a record, a Southwest Conference record in the 100 backstroke earlier, Dobbs, Lutz, Patterson, and then Jonathan Jennings of Texas. Patterson and Jennings of Texas in 7 and 8 are both freshmen. Weatherwax is a freshman. Lutz is a freshman. Wennerstrom is a freshman. 5 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and Dobbs is the only senior. But this is one of the sophomores, Jeff Thibault of Texas.
And he has had an outstanding meet. We need to watch his start because he swims most of the first lap underwater as we watch.
Thibault is in lane 4. This is lane 5, Mike Dobbs, the senior. He was second in the 100 backstroke on Friday night. So Dobbs and Thibault are no strangers to this competition.
And both of them made their NCAA qualifying times this morning.
No pressure. They don't have to worry about the NCAA qualifying times.
No,
so now
right,
they
right
just go
now
out.
they're just concentrating on their start, and as you can see them go underwater, they're going to dolphin kick for about 18 to 20 yards. And you can see right away Jeff Thibault is out in the lead by a half a body length going into the first turn.
Look at the records. 145, the Southwest Conference. The NCAA record is a little bit better, quite naturally, and the qualifying time, 149.19. As Tracy said, the first 2 were under NCAA splits, and they will go to Indianapolis, and so they worry about this one. But Thibault is out strongly in lane 4.
And as you can see him going into his turn, how he's got his shoulders rotate so well. He's got great turns. He stays underwater and kicks about 5 or 6 times and comes way out, which really helps him a lot.
That's more revolutionary. It's only just become the thing to do in the last couple of years, right?
Well, David Burkhoff, who was an 88 Olympian, has been credited for starting this fad, and it's been very helpful. As you can see, Jeff Thibault has mastered it just wonderfully, and he's really the backstroker to look at in the coming years.
When Burkhoff did it, a lot of people wondered if it was a legitimate backstroke event because they're spending so much time underwater.
And as you see here, Jeff Thibault, how good he looks with his strong kick and his arms coming into the turn. He just is reaching. He has great turns, and he's really in control of this race.
Thibault's a sophomore out of Houston, Texas, went to Cypress Creek High School. And again, this is his sophomore year. Last year he finished second in this event.
And he's just been amazing. He broke Rick Carey's 100 backstroke record last night, and he is going to be someone to contend with at the NCAA championships in both the 100 and 200.
Thibault, a 2-time winner and touching in second, a dead heat for second place between lane 3, Leif Wennerstrom of SMU, and lane 5, Mike Dobbs of SMU. So the Mustangs tie for second, but it is Thibault winning his second event in this 1990 Southwest Conference champion again. 8th in the 200 IM, 1st in the 100 back, and here as he comes under the flags, a winner again.
And also in lane 3, Leif Wennerstrom made his NCAA qualifying time. So 3 men from the Southwest Conference will be at the NCAA. As you can see, Jeff Thibault coming in, making his turn. He's got such strong, flexible ankles and legs. He's dolphining kick there. Now he starts to flutter kick as he comes up underneath the water.
There he is. Again, as he's got to take his time to get out a little bit, and after pushing it that hard, they need a little bit of time to get ready and cool off before they're going to be set to do anything. But they usually just jump right back in the water, don't they?
Yes, they need to cool off a little bit. They usually swim a couple hundred yards, real easy, relaxed, try to get all their muscles loose and all the lactic acid out as they can.
Our next event, the consolation finals of the 100-yard freestyle, and we'll check our lane assignments. TCU will hold down 1 and 2, Texas in 3, the Aggies in 4 and 5, and then Arkansas in 6, 7, and 8. So they're pretty well distributed. You can just run it down. Frogs, Longhorns, Aggies, and Razorbacks. And the one to watch, I guess, would be...
Watch the middle of the lanes. Lanes 4 and 5 are the fastest qualifiers from this morning, so we'll keep our eyes on Matt Cerezo and Mike Rosa. This is 4 laps, and the start is so crucial in the 100 freestyle.
Just here. 4 times down and back. good start in the consolation finals of the 100 freestyle. The ones to watch again, the fastest qualifiers from this morning. In lanes 4 is Matt Cerezo, a senior for Texas A&M, and Michael Baroza in 5 of Texas A&M as well. There are the times to watch and the times to beat.
Also in lane 3, Doug Dickinson is only a freshman from Texas. He scored in the 50 2 nights ago. He's a premier freestyler. Very young, just a freshman, so he'll be coming along very quickly.
Dickinson in 3 has the lead, a freshman out of Amarillo, Texas, tied for 3rd in the 50 freestyle as they bring it home here in the consolation finals of the
Matt
100.
Cerezo in lane 4 is making a charge at Dickinson to see if he can hold him off, and it looks like Doug Dickinson placed first with a time of 45.32, followed real closely by Matt Cerezo at the time of 45.63.
Take a look at it again. Dickinson at the top, and Cerezo just entering.
So you can see Cerezo's charging on. Dickinson's fading just a little bit, but he's got those long arms and he stretches to the wall.
From up top, there's Dickinson in 3, and in 4, Matt Cerezo. So the freshman from the University of Texas out of Amarillo, Texas, finishes first in the consolation finals. That's a 9th place finish overall. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll see who goes for lanes 1 through 8, as we'll have the finals of the 100 freestyle. Before we do that, we'll go to Kurt Anselmi, who is with our winner in the 200 backstroke, Jeff Thibault, a sophomore from the University of Texas.
Jeff, a great swim and a great win for you. Your start's a little bit unusual. Tell us about that.
Well, I started a submarine underwater start. When I was a senior in high school, we worked on that. When I came to Texas, we really performed all the drills that Burkhoff, the American record holder right now, he gave us some ideas of what to do, and we've been doing underwater drills that sometimes end up going 50 yards underwater without having a breath, which is kind of tough. And we've been just utilizing that and trying to adapt it to the race, and it's helped me tremendously.
You were 9th at the NCAAs last year. What kind of expectations do you have going in this year?
Well, I was 9th as a freshman with a little bit of experience, not much at all actually, and this year I project hopefully being in the top 3, get together with the other guys and just go after it. And the 3 other guys, they all know how to do the start, so it's going to be just whoever can do it best.
Well, congratulations once again. Jeff Thibault, our winner in the 100 and 200-yard backstroke. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt. And Tracy, really, he talks about getting tips from the guy who started all of this as we look at the results. Thibault, Texas, 147.80, Dobbs and Winterstrom, and then A&M, Steve Lutz, Ernie Vela. That will help the Aggies in the overall standings as they try to overtake and hang on, rather, to a 3rd place in this one. But Thibault, a winner in the 100 back, and again in this one, and he credits Burkhoff.
And that's a great thing about it is Burkhoff is now out of collegiate swimming. He might be still swimming now, but there is a lot of camaraderie, and they learn from the best.
Burkhoff, the one who started the submarine, and I think the first time that I became aware of it was at the Olympic trials here in this pool when Burkhoff came in, and he nearly went the entire length of the pool underwater. And for people who had never seen it, didn't know, they thought, what happened to the guy?
And it takes a lot of training, especially aerobically, because you have to hold your breath for so long. In a longer race like the 200 backstroke, you can't stay under as long, otherwise you go into oxygen debt as the race goes on.
Thibault did an excellent job also in the 100 freestyle when he broke the Southwest Conference record. And I watched that. I watched the preliminaries on that, and he nearly made it to the flags on his first lap. And then I think he was even farther underwater when they got to the actual competition, and he was in there.
And he's really mastered the submarine start.
Set for the finals of the 100-yard freestyle, and one to watch is Shaun Jordan of the University of Texas, and we talked with his coach before this night began about Shaun Jordan, the junior out of Dallas Highland Park.
Well, Shaun kind of embodies our whole philosophy. He came in not knowing a whole lot about the program. He was even a fair student and a fair swimmer. Since he's gotten here, he's become an excellent swimmer and an excellent student. and that's what we'd like to do with everybody we get. Just make them better every year. And Shaun has progressed amazingly well every year.
Shaun Jordan, that is he in your picture, the junior, again, 6 feet 1 inches tall, set one record earlier.
He has had an outstanding meet.
Take a look at the lane assignments for this one. Graves, Adam Worth of Texas, Todd Pace is a senior, Shaun Jordan the junior, Jertson's a senior, Hudak in 6 for Texas is a freshman, Wittig a sophomore, Scott Jones a senior for SMU. Jordan has already finished first in the 100 butterfly, first in the 100 or in the 50 freestyle, and Jertson in lane 5 for Texas, first in the 200 freestyle.
And let's watch the start here on Jordan. He's got a great start.
There you hear the electronic clock. Jordan in 4 with a pretty good start.
And already he's out in front. He's got a tremendous kick behind him and great turns. He really is aggressive on his turns coming off the wall, trying to get under that big wave of water that these men generate.
They're already under NCAA qualifying times and looking for a Southwest Conference record. They were 43.28 in the prelims, and out in front is Jordan.
And you can see him here going under the flags. He looks so good. He's got such a tremendous stroke. He's very strong. He's breathing every other stroke. And he's going to be very close to another record.
Jordan owns the record at 43.06. His time 43.48 is 0.2 of a second slower. The defending champion, though, perhaps a little bit disappointed he didn't break his record tonight.
Well, he might be a little bit disappointed, but he's got a lot of rest, and he's got 3 more weeks to prepare for the NCAAs where it really counts.
Take a look at it again as Jordan brings it home in the 100 freestyle.
He's out in front of everybody, so all he's trying to do is time his finish so he ends on an even stroke.
Looks like he didn't do it as we look at the rest of the field, and Jordan just coast there right at the last minute, and that may have cost him a record.
It might have, and it's something that he may improve on after he looks at some of the replays.
Jordan is a successful champion again. He won it last year with a new Southwest Conference record. He's also the defending NCAA champion. His time at the NCAAs last year was even better at 42.98.
And he's so exciting to watch because his progression has been so enormous, and he's been a great competitor for the Longhorns.
So Jordan wins it, his 3rd Southwest Conference title this year, his junior year. Finished first in the 50 freestyle, first in the 100 butterfly, and now first in the 100 freestyle. So he is part of the reason that Texas is so far out in front. Up on the boards now is the consolation finals of the 200 breaststroke. Here are the lane assignments. Walters, Dickinson, SMU with Doyle, Caldwell of Arkansas, Barty, Steele, and Sistala of Texas A&M. 8 lengths of the pool.
And in the middle of the pool, you need to keep your eye on Mike Doyle and Eric Caldwell. Eric's from a sophomore at the University of Arkansas, and he's taken their early lead.
Caldwell of Arkansas is from Santa Clara, California, finished 9th in the 100 breaststroke finals, and he is out in front. So he won the consolation finals in the 100-yard event here, and now looks to make it 2 for 2 in the console finals.
He's going out very aggressively. He's out very fast at the first 50 at a time of 26.43. And if he can keep this pace up, he's going to have a tremendous time as we look at his stroke here. He barely lifts his head. He's a much different swimmer than the swimmer in lane 4, Mike Doyle. Very short, very brisk.
Still with the lead, though, in lane 5 is Eric Caldwell, the sophomore from Arkansas, being closely watched by Mike Doyle, or rather Doyle with the lead now. Caldwell is just about collapsed.
Well, what we have seen there is Eric Caldwell has decided to swim his first 100 as fast as he can and see if he can get an NCAA cut. Now we concentrate on Mike Doyle here, and he looks real good. His kick's real strong as he's going into the 150 mark with a time of 129.54. We watch his turn here. He's a little short on his turn, which means he's getting tired, but he's trying to keep his stroke together.
Doyle of SMU in lane 4 is a sophomore from Marietta, Georgia, finished 5th in the 100 breaststroke, and he still looks strong as he touches and heads for home.
Got a big breath there on the turn. He's trying to get as much oxygen as he can getting home. And he's a little short. His shoulders aren't coming up as high as they normally are, but he's trying to fight off all of his competitors. Coming in strong, lane 3, Robert Blair. And in lane 6, Todd Barty. A great race for all 3 of those men.
The winner of our consolation finals, though, Mike Doyle of SMU in lane 4. There you see him as he gets a look at the scoreboard that is just in front of him, high above the pool here at the Texas Swim Center. We look again. Doyle's time, 2:03.82.
And he's struggling to hold on here at the very end, keeping Robbie Blair at a distance at the top of the screen in lane 3.
Lane 3 was Blair. He finishes 3rd. Second place goes to Julian Summers of Texas A&M in lane 6, a junior out of Dunwoody, Georgia. Is a little bit tired, to say the least, is Mike Doyle of SMU. When we come back, finals in the 200 breaststroke. There's the board. 1990 Men's Southwest Conference Swimming and Diving Championships here at the Texas Swim Center in Austin, Texas. Set to present the awards to the top 8 finalists in the 100-yard freestyle. And standing by with the winner, his 3rd win in this Southwest Conference Championship meet, is Shaun Jordan of the University of Texas with Kurt Anselmi. Kurt?
Shaun, that was an outstanding swim. Was setting a new record something you had in mind going into the race?
I would have liked to have gone into the record just the time-wise, more than anything else. I think I'd like to have been 42.6 here.
Awfully close. You're going to be defending your national championship here in 3 weeks. What are you going to do between now and then to prepare for that, and what's it going to take to defend that title?
I'm going to do a lot of rest between now and then. I think it's going to take a quick time. I think 42.3, 4 in that area will be a winning time.
Outstanding. Well, congratulations on the great meet this weekend, and good luck in the next 3 weeks.
Thank you very much.
Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt, and thank you to Shaun Jordan, who is a winner for the 3rd time. Jordan, though disappointed he didn't get the conference record. He missed it by about 0.6 of a second. He missed it. He had 43.06 to go, which was the record he set last year, and he missed that by about 0.4 of a second.
But he brought up a good point. All these swimmers are not peaked for this meet, and he's one of them. He did happen to shave, which means he shaved his arms and his legs, but he's still going to rest a little bit and prepare for the NCAAs in 3 weeks, which will make him go faster.
Jordan hopefully will defend his 1989 NCAA championship finish, a first-place finish last year for the University of Texas, as he was part of the reason Texas was able to successfully defend its 88 NCAA title.
And Texas has always been so strong and had a lot of great sprinters, and you need a lot of sprinters in order to contend for national championships, because they are important in the relay events as well as their individual events.
Jordan could be high point winner in this meet with 3 first-place finishes.
That's right, with three finishes. I don't know anybody else who's going to win 3 events in this meet. And there's Doug Jertson, another great swimmer for the Longhorns, an ADA Olympian, and he's going to be counted on heavily at the NCAAs. He's very versatile, swims a lot of events for the Longhorns, and will score many points for the Horns.
Jertson finished 6th in the 200 IM, a winner in the 200 free, and he's also a former champion in the backstroke events for Texas.
He's very versatile. He swims on all their relays. He swims IMs. He swims backstroke, and they're going to miss him next year when he graduates.
Coming up next is our finals of the 200-yard breaststroke. And the one to watch for the University of Texas in lane 4 is senior co-captain Kirk Stackel. Earlier before tonight began, we talked with Texas coach Eddie Reese about Stackel and the record he'd set earlier today.
Swimming's supposed to progress every year. Records that last more than 3 or 4 years need to go. They need to be broken. So that was a good one to break. And anytime you break Steve Lundquist's record, you're from Texas, you feel better about it.
Good smile for the coach. Stackle, a winner, defending Southwest Conference champion last year. He won it. He, again, broke the Southwest Conference record, the oldest record on the books in the Southwest Conference. Steve Lundquist of SMU back in 1981. Lundquist was just an absolute standout All-American for the Mustangs. SMU represented in lanes 1 and 2. After that, it's Texas, Arkansas, A&M, and then 2 more for Texas in Henry and 7, and Waters, who was an Olympian and is just a freshman for the University of Texas. But Stackle in lane 4, the one to watch, 2-time defending champion in this event.
And he's been very impressive because he isn't fully rested or shaved, and to break a record like that means he's really on schedule to do some great things at the NCAA meet.
Stackle in 3. His teammate to his right is Hans Dersch, who finished 3rd in this event last year. And again, Stackle a winner in the 100 breaststroke, and he'll try for 200 now.
A little bit shaky there on the start. The starter recalled them in order to let them get back. With one, on a start like this, you only have one chance. If you fall in the water, one disqualification, and you're disqualified from the event.
Good start. We are in the finals of the 200-yard breaststroke. Steve Pierce of SMU in 1, Cliff Line of SMU in 2, Hans Dersch of Texas in 3, Kirk Stackle, 2-time defending champion of Texas, is in 4, Robbie Fritcher of Arkansas in 5, Julian Summers of A&M in 6, Jim Henry of Texas in 7, Dan Waters of Texas in 8. There are the times to beat, the record times and the qualifying times. Only Stackle was the one to do it so far, and that was in this morning's prelims when he just absolutely shattered the existing Southwest Conference mark set by Steve Lundquist of SMU 9 years ago.
And let's look at him right here coming into his 3rd turn. He looks so strong. He's so smooth, and he takes less strokes than the other competitors, but yet he goes farther with them. We can watch him here. He's got such a strong pull and a strong kick. His heels come up very well, and he's got great turns. As you can see, he hits the wall just perfectly.
Stackle of Texas is a senior from San Diego, California. There is the unofficial time. The NCAA qualifying time is 2:01.49, and the record he set earlier this morning, 1 minute 56.89 seconds. So we'll watch him again.
And he's won the NCAA championship before in both the 100 and 200 breaststroke, but not in the same year. So he's going to be shooting for those 2 titles in 3 weeks.
Stackle won the 200-yard breaststroke event back in 1988. He finished 2nd last year in 89. And last year in 89, he was the NCAA champion at 100 yards.
And there you can see some of the competitors rooting for their teammates.
That is lane 5, Robbie Fritcher of Arkansas getting some help. But well out in front is Kirk Stackle, one of the 3 co-captains for the University of Texas. Look at the distance.
And he's trying to break his own Southwest Conference record, and he did it.
Stackle's time, 1:56.21, nearly 5 full seconds ahead of 2nd place finisher Robbie Fritcher of Arkansas.
That was an outstanding swim for Kirk Stackle. He's really got to be pleased with that swim.
4.89 seconds the difference between that man, Kirk Stackle, and the rest of the field. Look how calm the water is.
He's just so strong, and even at the end of the race, he doesn't look real tired. He's staying concentrated and focusing on his finish.
So this morning was no fluke, as Stackle broke the record, and again, so impressive. Look at the distance here. This is a good, easily 5 yards.
And more amazingly is those swimmers behind him also qualified for the NCAA championships.
Robbie Fritcher of Arkansas was 2nd and did make qualifying time. Also in 3rd place, Cliff Line of SMU, also under qualifying time. But Stackle defending his championship successfully, and again, he'll look at the NCAAs in 3 weeks, and again, that makes his 2 swims today even that much more impressive.
And he's got a lot of experience. He was one of our 88 Olympians. Texas has 4 Olympians on their team. So he's very accustomed to this type of pressure and what it's going to take to win the NCAAs.
Next up on the schedule is the consolation finals of the 200-yard butterfly. There are your lane assignments. And again, the ones in lanes 4 with the fastest qualifying time from earlier today, and that is Kevin Irion, a senior for TCU. They go Fastest is in lane 4, and then they go 3, 5, 2, 6, and alternate there. 8 lengths of the pool, and this perhaps the second most grueling event that swimmers face. The first, of course, is the 1650 freestyle, the mile, but this is the next most demanding.
And you see a lot of the distance swimmers, distance freestyle swimmers swimming the 200 butterfly because they do have the aerobic endurance to swim this race.
It takes so much as you have to have great shoulder rotation and great strength in the shoulders.
And it's very important that these swimmers stay under control in the first half of the race, because if they try to take it out too fast, they're going to have nothing left on the second half of their race, and there's no reserves to work off of.
There's no time to rest in this event.
No, but there is a difference between rest and control. You want to make sure you're staying within yourself and not going out too aggressively and getting tired at the beginning of the race.
Our leader so far is in lane 2, and that is Matt Walters, a sophomore for TCU, who finished 9th in the 400 IM earlier. In the middle, that is Kevin Irion. As we go from top to bottom, and out in front again in lane 2 is for TCU, sophomore Matt Walters from Los Alamos, New Mexico.
And he's having a super swim with 2 lengths to go. He's still in the lead. His split at the 150 mark was 122.7. If he can hold on here, this is going to be a big win and valuable points for the Horns.
Kenton looks a little bit tired as he approaches the wall there for his final 25 yards. And again, TCU in a real battle with Texas A&M and Arkansas for 3rd place. Winner in the consolation finals of the 400 individual medley, and a winner here in the consolation finals of the 200 butterfly, Matt Walters, the sophomore for TCU. His time, 1 minute, 51.71 seconds. Nearly 4 seconds faster than this morning.
And that's a great swim for him, but more importantly, the TCU Horned Frogs really needed those points in the race with Texas A&M for 3rd. So you can see him coming under the flags. He's holding on to his stroke, trying to finish on an even stroke, and he kept off his competitors pretty well.
Walters from TCU finishes about a good 3 yards in front of his newest competitor. That in the lane next to him, Doug Keating, a freshman for Texas A&M. We'll take a break as we look at the Texas Swim Center from the top row here in Austin, Texas. When we come up next, the championship heat in the 200 butterfly. We are set to talk to our new Southwest Conference record holder. Broke the record in the 200 breaststroke this morning. Reestablished that mark tonight. Kirk Stackle of the University of Texas is with Kurt Anselmi.
Kirk, you've broken the record now twice today. You've got to feel good about having your name on the record books now as the senior. Tell us about it.
I'm feeling really good about having broken Lundquist's record, knowing that he holds the American record. And when I shave, I plan on getting better than what he did on the American record.
You've won the 100 and the 200 at Nationals, but never in the same event, or never in the same year. How do you feel about that going into National?
I plan to correct this problem. Seems like I never get the timing right in one of the other ones. I corrected in the next event or vice versa. This year I've gotten them all pretty much together in the same meet finally here. And I think I can carry it through until another 2 more weeks.
Kirk Stackle, the 200 breaststroke Southwest Conference record holder. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt. And thank you to Kirk Stackle again, an NCAA champion in 1988 in the 200 breast. Last year he finished 2nd. And in 1989 at the NCAA meet, he also won the 100 breast. It's interesting that he plans to correct that. It's nice when you have that much talent that you're so in control. As he goes down, he shoots. He's taken Steve Lundquist off the boards in the Southwest Conference record book. Lundquist, the oldest record holder of the record that has stood the longest since 1981. His record is finally busted by Kirk Stackle of the University of Texas, and now he goes after Lundquist's American record.
and it should be a great race at the NCAA championships.
The little star means yes, it is a Southwest Conference record. There are the results. Robbie Fritcher of Arkansas helping the Hogs. And line of SMU, Texas A&M, Summers. That will help in the race for third against TCU. Set now for the finals of the 200-yard butterfly, and the ones to watch are, again, always in the middle of the pool. And this time, as we take a look at the lane assignments, notice one school noticeably absent, the University of Texas. But in lane 4, Craig Jackson of SMU.
And he's the defending champion in this event. He was also 4th last year in the NCAA championships, and I know he's looking to move up this year.
Jackson of SMU in lane 4, two-time defending champion. Won it last year, won it in 1988, and the senior, in his first year on Mockingbird Lane, finished 3rd in this event. Jackson is from Johannesburg, South Africa. Long way to come. He's had a good meet so far, 2nd in the 100 butterfly and 4th in the 200 individual medley.
And it's swimmers like Craig Jackson and their performances that have done so well for SMU. And SMU has had a great meet, and they should do even better at the NCAAs.
Longhorns will win their 11th straight Southwest Conference championship, and SMU will finish 2nd for the 11th straight year. Before that, Eddie Reese's first year, 1979, that ended the domination of the SMU Mustangs, who had reigned supreme over Texas for so many years. Championship final of the 200-yard butterfly. Patterson of SMU in 1, Verosa of A&M in 2, Lake of A&M is in 3. Jackson, the one to beat, in lane 4. Steve Reed of TCU, who finished 2nd a year ago, is in lane 5. Kyle Hoskins, a senior for SMU, in 6. Weintraub of TCU is a freshman in 7. And Ware, a freshman of SMU, in 8. There are the times, the record times, and the one that perhaps they're more concerned with in this is the qualifying time.
Craig Jackson made his qualifying time this morning, and he looks great now. The impressive thing about Craig is he's able to hold his stroke throughout the whole 8 laps, whereas most swimmers have a problem at the end of their race.
The top 3 finishers in this event a year ago are in it again, and they will go 1, 2, 3 as they make the first turn. Last year it was Jackson, Reed, and Lake, and it is Jackson out in front. Reed is there to his left of TCU, and off to the right, barely coming into the picture now, is Lake of Texas A&M.
Right now, Steve Reed is giving Craig Jackson all he can handle in this 200 fly race.
Jackson, senior from Johannesburg, South Africa, and Steve Reed, a senior from Holtz Summit, Missouri. So these two have known each other's talents for 4 years.
And there's Craig Jackson coming into his last turn. He's still breathing every other stroke, going into the wall. He's getting a little tired. We just saw him take two breaths in a row.
Out in front, Craig Jackson of SMU, a 2-time defending champion, looking to make it 3 straight for the Mustangs. 1:46.06. Touching in 2nd place in lane 3, Texas A&M, Alan Lake, just nudging Steve Reed of TCU, and that may have some ramifications in the final point standings. So Jackson successfully defends his title again, but the second 2 positions behind him, Reed and Lake, reverse it from a year ago. Last year, Jackson was well out in front. He does it again this year.
So you can see here at the finish, Craig Jackson coming in. He takes a couple of breaths. He's estimating where the wall is. He's got great kick, and he finishes very strong.
There's the first place, well out in front, as we'll take a look at the race for second.
And this
3
was
and
an
5.
outstanding finish by lane 3, Alan Lake of Texas A&M, as he nudged out Steve Reed of TCU.
Alan Lake is a sophomore out of Fort Worth, Texas. In the foreground is Steve Reed, senior for TCU, as he finishes 3rd. Again, it just missed NCAA qualifying times. Also missing in lane 3 is Alan Lake, the sophomore. We'll take a break. Up next, the long climb to the top. Platform diving from 10 meters above. Some of the best in the nation, they call it. It's one of the fastest pools, and that view is from as high as you can get here in the Texas Swim Center. That is in the rafters somewhere. No, check that. That is from the platform diving, and that's where you got to go from. Current standings as we approach the platform diving finals. Scott Donie with about 125-point lead, and Kurt, it would take something for Willis or Briscom or anybody else to overtake Donie again.
Scott is absolutely the premier diver of the contest today, so the race looks like it's going to be for second and third place.
Donie, our first diver in this final round of competition is Andy Seary, a sophomore out of Arkansas.
Andy's going to be doing an inward 2.5 somersault tuck from the 10-meter platform. Andy just went a little bit past vertical on that. The dive calls for inward 2.5 somersaults, and he should finish straight up and down it. He'll get a good look at a great throw in the beginning. Nice tight somersault. Kicked out a little bit with his head down and a little bit late, which caused the dive to go past vertical.
There are the scores. And again, the diving scores come from the judges who are diving coaches, so they know best. Next up on the 10-meter platform is Kevin Willis, a senior out of SMU, San Antonio's Churchill product.
Kevin's an outstanding platform diver. Kevin will be doing a forward 3.5 somersault tuck. The degree of difficulty in that is 2.7. That's an outstanding dive for Kevin. Get a good chance to look at what they call a rip entry.
Good scores, all 7s and a 7.5 from judge number 3.
Watch Kevin's run to the end of the platform, a good strong throw over the top of his head, and once again an outstanding tight tuck and right in on the finish.
7s and 7.5 for the SMU sophomore. Next up is Kyle Bass, a junior from TCU. And again, I might mention that the way they're diving, the order of the divers tonight is not how they stand coming into tonight's final round.
Kyle will be performing off the 5-meter platform, but doing an inward 1.5 somersault tuck. Nice dive on the finish. Kyle backed away from the tower just a little bit, and the scores that was scored very well.
7s, etc., but he is not on the 10-meter platform.
This is an outstanding dive, just a little bit away from the tower.
They can go from any platform they want. And there you'd see a look at all of the platforms. The one at top is the 10-meter.
We'll see diving from 3 towers, the 5-meter, the 7.5, and the 10-meter tonight.
Next up is Sean Briscom, an SMU sophomore from San Carlos, California. Briscom was 4th in the 1-meter, 2nd in the 3-meter.
Looking at a forward 3.5 somersault in the pike position. Sean will be bent at the waist only.
Briscom from SMU, only 5 feet 7 inches tall. Pretty consistent scores from the judging again as we take a look again.
Sean's an outstanding diver once again at this level. A great dive for Shaun. He rolled in the entry just a little bit instead of straightening completely out of the dive. He rolled the finish just a little bit and scored 6.5s on the dive.
Next up is the one that we've been waiting to see, the man who has dominated Southwest Conference diving for the past 4 years, senior Scott Donie of SMU, the defending Southwest Conference champion, the defending NCAA champion in this event, and he would have to just about do some cannonballs to lose this one.
Scott, once again, he seems to get better the higher he goes in diving. He's an outstanding 1-meter diver. He's great at 3 meters, and he's unbelievable at 10 meters. We'll be doing an inward 3.5 somersault tuck, and the degree of difficulty on this is 3.2. That's exactly why Scott Donie is the NCAA champion.
Good scores for the senior out of Houston Westchester High School, and he has been the dominant force in platform diving as well.
3.5 somersaults inward from the 10-meter platform. Excellent somersaulting action. Watch this finish. Absolutely no splash on the end. A rip entry. And that rip entry you might pick up has an unbelievable sound to it. It basically means that they're getting in one very small hole into the water, and that is caused by a great deal of a stretch going into the water.
Freshman for Arkansas is Paul Staudinger, 6 feet 2 inches tall, from Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
This time we'll be looking at an inward 2.5 somersault tuck from the 10-meter. This is 1 somersault less than what Scott just did. Went a little bit past vertical on the bottom. Once again, he had plenty of time to do the dive.
Numbers not as good for Staudinger, the freshman for Arkansas.
Plenty of time for Paul to do inward 2.5 somersault. Just had his head down a little bit on the end. Right there, and went right past the finish.
Next up, number 7 in this round of diving is Tony Ghanem, a junior out of TCU. As you take a look at all of the judges and the officials that do the volunteer work to make sure that the scores are right and they're calculated and computed and put down, etc.
Tony will be performing a forward 2.5 somersault from the 7.5 meter. Very nice job for Tony. A little bit away from the tower, but still a nice dive.
6s and a 6.5 for Ghanem, the junior out of Houston for Texas Christian University, off 7.5 meters.
Nice throw in the beginning. Needs to stand up just a little bit, and that'll keep his distance closer to the tower. But still a very good dive for Tony.
And on the 7.5 meter, our final diver in this round of competition, 8 divers. This is number 8, Robbie Stewart, a junior for TCU.
Robbie will be doing the same dive, a front 2.5 pike. Very similar dive.
Scores a little bit better. 7s and 6.5 for Robbie Stewart of TCU.
A little bit better jump in the beginning for Robbie. Nice punch off the tower. His distance is a little bit better than his teammate Tony.
Stewart is from Zimbabwe. Long way to Fort Worth. Set now for the second round of dives in the platform competition. We go back to the number 1 man in the order, and that is sophomore Andy Seary of Arkansas. Garland Berkner went to Berkner High School.
Watch Andy do a forward 2.5 somersault tuck. Nice dive for Andy. This was from the 5 meter. Scored 6s on that dive. Good strong throw in the beginning. Nice finish. Lost his feet just a little bit. Feet were a little bit apart on that.
Next up on the 10 meter is Kevin Willis of SMU, the senior. Willis, who finished second in the 1 meter diving competition and then 6th in the 3 meter. Again, Scott Donie of SMU won the 1 meter and the 3 meter, as he has done virtually since he began his career 4 years ago. Again, this is Willis, an SMU senior from San Antonio, Texas.
Kevin will be doing an inward 3.5 somersault tuck, same as teammate Scott Donie. This SMU diving crew is just outstanding. Going to call for a very aggressive throw in the beginning, throwing right at the tower. That's an outstanding dive for Kevin.
His teammates in the crowd certainly liked it here at the Texas Swim Center. The highest scores of the night, 8 and 1.7.5 for Kevin Willis of SMU.
Watch how high Kevin finishes his dive. Actually a lot higher than teammate Scott Donie. Great throw in the beginning. Distance is perfect. Finished that dive at 5 meters and had an outstanding stretch. Scored 8s on that dive. That's great for Kevin.
That'll move Willis up as he takes on one of the more difficult dives and does it well. Kyle Bass, a junior from TCU, is up next.
Kyle will be on the 7.5 meter platform and will be doing a forward 2.5 pike position. Just let it roll a little bit on the end.
Bass finished 7th on the 1 meter, 7th on the 3 meter. As we look at his scores, 5.5s, let's take a look again at Kyle Bass of TCU.
Kyle rolled it off the tower just a little bit right there, and that affected his entry. Been an outstanding dive. He could have picked his head up just a bit and taken it straight to the bottom.
Number 4 on the list is sophomore Sean Briscom of SMU.
Once again, another outstanding SMU diver will be doing another inward 3.5 somersault tuck. SMU not only is outstanding diving-wise, but they put together one heck of a list. They're all doing optionals that are in the 3-point to 3.2 range. That may have been one of the best inward 3.5s out of the group.
Again, big scores, and those are the highest, 8s and 8.5 for Briscoe.
Once again, look how high and how fast Shaun is spinning in towards the tower. But again, look how high he finishes that dive. That's a great stretch to the end. There is our rip entry that we've talked about.
Briscom finished third in this event a year ago, still trying to catch his teammate. The man with the lead, almost an insurmountable lead, Scott Donie, the senior from Houston, Westchester. Donie is the defending conference and NCAA champion in this event, finished second in the NCAAs 2 years ago in the platform diving.
Here's another one of those high degree of difficulty dives for Scott. It's a back 3 1/2 somersault tuck, and the degree of difficulty in this is 3.3.
You said before we actually came on that Donie doesn't back off and take some easy dives.
Now, he goes after the biggest and strongest dives, and he does them very well.
Mark of a true champion is to take on the best, and Donie has done that. In his years at SMU, he has finished first in every Southwest Conference diving competition except one when he was second in 1988. Here again is Donie.
Scott backed away from the tower just a tiny bit. It was a little slow getting started in that dive. An outstanding dive when you consider he's doing 3 1/2 rotations backwards and just left it a little bit short of vertical.
5s to 6s his scores. And next up is Paul Staudinger, freshman for Arkansas. Bartlesville, Oklahoma, state high school champion for Bartlesville last year, and he is one of the strongest for the Razorbacks. They look for him to do good things in his career up in Fayetteville.
Paul will be up on the 10 meter doing a back 1 1/2 somersault with 1 1/2 twists. Outstanding dive for Paul. That's going to score very well.
Staudinger did not place in the 1 meter, finished 8th in the 3 meter. Some good numbers for the freshman from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. He looks to move up in the standings.
Watch his jump in the very beginning. That's very nice. Almost finished the dive at just below the 10 meter platform.
Number 7 on the list in round 2 is Tony Gunham, Houston's Aleph Hastings product. He now competes for Texas Christian University, and he is on the 7 1/2 meter board.
Scott will be doing an inward 2 1/2 somersault in the tuck position. Nice dive for Tony. Just a little bit short of vertical.
There are the numbers, and take a look again at Tony Gunham of TCU.
So give you a good opportunity to see the dive. He reaches behind his head just a little bit, which makes him slow in beginning that dive.
5 1/2s and 6 for Gunham of TCU. Finishing up the second round, number 8 on the list, Robbie Stewart, a junior for TCU, again off the 7 1/2 meter platform.
We'll see Robbie doing an inward 2 1/2 somersault in the tuck position. Robbie seemed a little hesitant in getting that dive off the tower. Possibly his knees buckled just a little bit.
Numbers vary from 6 to 5 for Robbie Stewart of TCU.
It's a little bit too much knee bend in the start, which again creates it a little bit, or it's a little slow getting the dive off the tower. Does a nice job with it and scores 5 5 1/2 on that dive.
That takes care of rounds 1 and 2, and now for our final round of diving, we go back to the beginning, and the man at the top of the list is Andy Siri, a sophomore from Arkansas. Siri, who went to Berkner High School up in Garland, is on the 5 meter.
We'll see a back double somersault in the pike position from the 5 meter. This is something that you don't see too often. Andy will most likely take that dive up to the 10 meters here soon to put his head in the water. The idea in diving is to get in on your head. Believe it or not, this is a very difficult dive to do correctly or do well. Just want to pass vertical and sat down in the water.
3 1/2 and some 4s for Andy Siri of Arkansas. Now Kevin Willis of SMU, and he nailed his last one.
Kevin's got a big dive here, a reverse 2 1/2 somersault in the tuck position from the 10 meter. Once again, we have a strong race for the second place spot here. Gives you an idea of the type of concentration it takes to do this dive. Do any dive from that level. Willis is a senior. Kevin will be spinning back towards the tower 2.5 times. Just a little bit past vertical for Kevin on that dive. An outstanding jump in the beginning.
There are the scores, 4.5 and 5 for Willis of SMU.
Once again, a great deal of concentration. Nice swing in the beginning. Distance was very nice, a little flat-footed, but kicked a little bit late and swung right past the vertical.
Next up is Kyle Bass, TCU junior. Arlington, Texas product, went to Lamar High School. He stays close to home in Fort Worth. Bass, those are the numbers from his last dive.
Kyle will be on the 7.5 meter platform doing a back 1.5 with 2.5 twists. Outstanding dive for Kyle. That's been a great night for Kyle.
There are the numbers for Kyle Bass, TCU's junior, and take a look again.
If Kyle could stand up just a little bit more right there, have a little bit more success on the diver, could get a little more height in the dive, but still an outstanding dive for Kyle. Great way to finish up this contest.
Next on the board on the 10 meter, Sean Briscom, SMU's sophomore diver from San Carlos, California, 30 years ago, as he tries to catch Scott Donie, but Briscom had a pretty good dive his last time out.
He's in pretty good shape. He needs to do this dive well, which he's very capable of doing. He'll be doing a back 1.5 somersault with 3.5 twists from the 10 meter.
Briscom finished 4th at the 1 meter competition here, 2nd in the 3 meter competition, again to his teammate Scott Donie, who's up next. But there are the numbers for Briscom.
This is a good dive for Sean. He's done it better. Very nice jump in the beginning. You'll see he's just a little crooked on the end of that dive. Let's take another look at it from the side. You might be able to see it a little better. Good in the beginning. Nice tight position and throughout the air. 3.5 twists. Just a little crooked on his square. Still scored well. Still scored 6.5.
Next up, Scott Donie, our leader, coming into tonight's final round of competition. First NCAA diving champion ever for SMU. Did it last year on the 10 meter platform.
We'll have an opportunity to watch Scott do the exact same dive, a back 1.5 somersault with 3.5 twists.
Donie, a 3-time Southwest Conference Diver of the Year. A little bit better.
That's an outstanding dive, an outstanding way for Scott to finish his contest.
Scott Donie, born in Vicenza, Italy. He's 21 years old, and he gets a 9 with 8 5s everywhere else. It can't come much better than this.
Watch this. You're seeing the best right here. 3.5 twists, and absolutely no splash in the beginning and on the finish of that. From the side, good, strong jump.
Donie has won this platform event 3 straight years, and with this one, it'll make 4.
Scott is just so strong. In fact, his is a name that is always mentioned as somebody to replace Greg Louganis as our Olympic top diver.
Number 6 in this final round of 8 is Paul Staudinger, Arkansas's freshman from Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Paul will be up on the 10 meter doing a back 2.5 somersault in the pike position. 2.5 revolutions backwards, only bend in the waist. Get a good look at the concentration.
Just a freshman for the Razorbacks, Paul Staudinger. Take a look again at Staudinger's effort off the 10 meter.
Paul's just a little loose in this dive and falls back from the tower. And that, what you do in the beginning of your dive has a great effect on what happens in the end. Paul let go considerably late on that and went right past vertical.
On the 5 meter now is Tony Garnham, TCU, with his final dive of this final round.
Tony will be on the 5 meter platform doing a back 2.5 somersault tuck. It's a difficult dive from the 5 meter. It doesn't have quite as much room as, of course, if we were on the 10 meter. Does an outstanding job. Very nice dive for Tony and a great way for him to finish up.
Gunham takes a look, as we do too, at the scoreboard, and look again at Gunham's effort off the 5 meter.
Great swing in the beginning. It's going to take a lot of rotation. Nice position in the air. Just a little bit past it on the finish, but just an outstanding dive for Tony.
This is a view from the 10 meter platform looking down.
Kicked out with his feet apart, but had the presence of mind to get those back together. Outstanding job for Tony.
On the 7.5 meter now with the final dive of tonight, Robbie Stewart, TCU.
Robbie will be doing a forward 1.5 somersault with 2 twists, and this will be in the free position.
Final dive of the night, Robbie Stewart. Coming off the 7.5 meter, looks back to see what the judges say. 5.5 to 6.5.
Nice job for Robbie. A little too far away from the platform, but technique-wise, it's a pretty nice dive. Straight up and down on the finish. Nice job for Robbie.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll check the final results from tonight's platform diving competition. Though with his final effort, it's probably easy to say that Scott Donie has won it one more time. Up next, the finals of the 400-yard freestyle relay. Join us tomorrow night for more Southwest Conference basketball action, where the Houston Cougars host the Texas Longhorns. Both teams currently battling for the second seeding in the Southwest Conference tournament and the chance to face the 12th-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, perhaps in the championship game. Southwest Conference basketball tomorrow night on HSE. We are set. We'll take a look at the team standings in just a little bit, but before we do that, standing by with Kurt Anselmi is a winner for the 3rd time in this championship meet, Craig Jackson, tonight's winner in the 200 butterfly.
Craig, you were out in front the entire race. Is that part of your strategy going into the event?
Yeah, it is. I try and keep a good 100, good pace, around about at 151 point, and then I build into the second 100. So yeah, I do try to go out ahead and try and keep ahead.
How did you feel about that time, the finish?
I was happy. I was actually hoping for a couple of seconds better, but I'm satisfied with it.
Your team, as a senior leader, your team is doing outstanding. Give us some of your team thoughts right now.
Oh, we're doing great. I mean, this is probably our best conference in the longest time. So, we had a good bunch of freshmen coming in, so we're real happy.
Well, congratulations once again on winning the 200-yard butterfly. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt. And you heard the accent. Craig Jackson with an accent. He is from Johannesburg, South Africa. After Jackson's win in the 200 butterfly, those are the team standings. The Longhorns well out in front. SMU very, very strong in second place. The battle for third between A&M and TCU, and whoever wins that considers this a victory. TCU right now will finish better than the Frogs have ever finished. They have never been above 5th since 1966. Their 392 points last year was the highest ever for the Frogs. They will have a chance to improve on that as TCU and A&M are deadlocked in a big beat battle for third place. But when we come back, the race for number 1 and that trophy just about complete. Texas looking for 11 straight. The pool is quiet here at the Texas Swim Center as we wait for our final event of the night, which is the 400 freestyle relay. Just completed, though, the platform diving competition, and making a clean sweep yet again is Scott Donie of SMU, a winner on the 1 meter, a winner on the 3 meter, and tonight, a winner on the platform. With him now is our own Kurt Anselmi.
Scott, congratulations on winning your 11th out of your 12th conference title. How did you feel about your performance tonight?
Tonight I was all right. I was just off on one dive, but I was pretty pleased overall.
Tell us about, is there a difference to you as far as diving 10 meter versus 3 meter versus 1 meter?
Oh, there's a huge difference. the higher you go, the scarier it is, but the easier it is, I think. At the lower levels, the smaller mistakes, can really cost you, but there's a big difference in all three.
You've got an outstanding diving team at SMU. How does that help you train during the week?
It's great to have good competition and practice every day because it helps keep you going so that when you get to a meet, you know who you're going to be up against, and when you're training with the best, that really helps.
Well, Scott, congratulations on an outstanding meet.
Thank you.
Scott Donie, champion of the boards. Joe, back to you.
There you see his final dive. Donie really nailed it, and again, he makes a clean sweep for the third time out of 4 years. He wins 11 of 12 diving titles, all 4 on the platform, all 4 on the 3-meter, and 3 of 4 on the 1-meter. His sophomore season, he finished second to his own teammate, Zeke Crowley. Here are the final results from the championship heat of the 200-yard butterfly. We just heard from Craig Jackson a few moments ago, the winner from SMU. He is the 3-time champion in the 200 butterfly. Alan Lake overtaking Steve Reed at the end to take second place in the final competition. Reed of TCU, Hoskins, Weintraub, Patterson, Veroza, and Ware of the Mustangs bring it in for the first 1 through 8 spots.
In 7th place, from Arkansas, Andy Siri, 4:34.65. In 6th place, from Texas Christian, Kyle Bass.
Some of the crowd here at the Texas Swim Center. Swimmers applauding the efforts of their teammates as they are presenting the awards. And again, a nice crowd here at the Texas Swim Center. On the platform waiting is Scott Donie. These are the diving finals and the diving award winners. In 8th place was Paul Staudinger, the freshman from Arkansas. His teammate Andy Siri was 7th. TCU with finishes at 4, 5, and 6. 4th is Robbie Stewart. 5th is Tony Ghanem. 6th is Kyle Bass. That will help the Horned Frogs as they try to take over 3rd place in the team competition. SMU, though, sweeping in the platform diving. 3rd, Kevin Willis. Willis was 2nd on the 1-meter, 6th on the 3-meter, 3rd on the platform. Sean Briscom of SMU, 2nd tonight. He was 2nd on the 3-meter to Scott Donie, 4th on the 1-meter to Donie. And again, the winner, Scott Donie. Tracy, Scott Donie has just been so impressive. First ever champion in SMU, and he's probably done something that maybe no one will ever touch when it comes to this meet in particular, 11 of 12 first-place finishes.
He's been truly outstanding, and SMU has had a great tradition of great divers, and this year's no exception. These 3 divers that have won the top 3 spots are going to be critical for the Mustangs coming up at the NCAA championships, as they always are. The diving team provides valuable points, and they should again this year.
Scott Donie, a winner for the SMU Mustangs. 11 times in 12 tries. Donie is a champion at the Southwest Conference meet. Next up for him and all of the divers 1 week later, coming up next week, March 8th through 10th, the diving pre-qualifying meet. And Donie will have an advantage as we take a look at the final point standings. Nearly 140 points. Remember, he led by 125 coming in to this. But Donie will have an advantage in the pre-qualifying meet because it's at Perkins Natatorium. SMU will host it.
That's right. He's also already qualified in some events, so he won't have that problem. But it is a zone meet, so some of these divers will have to qualify.
Notice there were no divers for the University of Texas. Their diving coach, Mike Brown, said he elected to rest some of his divers. They were having some nagging injuries and chose this time to rest his divers. Scott Donie, a winner, as HSE returns in a minute with the big event, the 400 freestyle relay, the one everybody wants. Back at the Texas Swim Center here in Austin, Texas. We are set for the final event of tonight's competition, the 400 freestyle relay. Standings going in. It's Texas. The Longhorns have wrapped up their 11th straight Southwest Conference title. SMU super strong in number 2. The battle for third, TCU and A&M. The Frogs have never finished higher than 5th since 1966. 442 is a new personal school record in this meet for TCU. All the Frogs have to do is beat A&M to hang on to third place. Easier said than done.
That's right. Actually, all they have to do is not get disqualified in this race, and they will have beaten A&M as far as the points go, which is an outstanding meet for the Horned Frogs.
Horned Frogs looking to hang on to third place. Texas with a chance to win its 11th straight Southwest Conference title. And the anchor on the Southwest Conference Championships has always been this event, the 400 freestyle relay. And it's no surprise that Texas is a 10-time defending champion. There are the lane assignments, the Longhorns in 4.
And they literally own this event. They own the conference, NCAA, and American record in this event.
Starter brings them up, and they'll reset it again. And the noise level perhaps never matches what it does during the 400 freestyle relay.
No, this is the most exciting event, the relay event of the meet, and we should have a great finish here. We need to watch lane 4, Texas. They are defending their championship.
Longhorns are in lane 4. Last year it was Texas first, Texas A&M second, and Arkansas third. Again, the Longhorns in 4 are led off by Rob Hudak.
He was a finalist tonight in our 100 freestylers, so he should be able to pull Texas out in the lead. However, he is swimming against Todd Pace, who also finaled, and he was second or third in the 100 tonight.
Turning first, though, in lane 7 is Matt Cerezo of Texas A&M. Cerezo of A&M, Hudak is in 4 of Texas, Pace, SMU in 5.
Todd Pace has gotten the Mustangs out to an early lead here. He'll be handing off to Mike Dobbs, the second swimmer for their relay team.
It is Dobbs for SMU, followed by Adam Worth of Texas in lane 4. SMU's first time, 44.45, and up in the top of the screen again, that is unofficial. That is our own running time, but there you see the race between Texas and SMU. Worth at the top, Dobbs at the bottom.
Somewhat of a surprise, Adam Worth swimming in 100 freestyler. He's more of a 200, 500, but he is performing very well for the Horns.
Dobbs of SMU turns first with Worth right on his heels. The exchange comes, and next up for the Mustangs is Scott Jones. For Texas, it'll be Doug Jerkson. Mustangs and Longhorns just about even as they head in with A&M in third place at the bottom of the screen.
And that was a great exchange for Texas. Jerkson and Adam Worth did a great job. Already Jerkson's overtaken SMU swimmer next to him.
Jerkson was the anchor leg for last year's Texas NCAA champion in this event, the 400 freestyle relay.
And he jammed his turn a little bit there, that shouldn't cost him too much time. He's overtaken Scott Johns of SMU. Up on the blocks for Texas is Shaun Jordan.
Jordan, a winner in the 50 free, the 100 free, and the 200 free. Jordan takes over for the University of Texas. The Longhorns are 10-time defending champions, and look at the lead Texas enjoys now thanks to Doug Jerkson's effort on the third leg.
Texas is so strong in their relays. They got so much depth, and that's why they can put together such strong relays. And see Shaun Jordan here, you can't even see him take a breath when he's swimming. He's got such a powerful stroke.
Extremely quick turns for Jordan as well. Trying to bring it home for Texas. Two-time defending champion in this event, and the Longhorns record back in 1982 in this event still stands at 254.45. Shaun Jordan trying to crack that one. Jordan of Texas, followed by Leif Winterstrom of SMU is second. In third place, Texas A&M, Alan Lake. And in fourth place for TCU, Mark Graves. But the Longhorns, led by that man, Shaun Jordan, win it again. And again, we look at the third leg of Jerkson, who overtook SMU, and he did an outstanding job leaving it for Jordan.
It always helps when you go into water having a lead, and I'm sure Shaun Jordan appreciated Doug Jerkson putting in such a great effort in that race.
final time of 2 minutes 55.63 seconds is off of the Southwest Conference record set again by Texas 8 years ago, 1982. As we look again at Texas coming down, in the middle of the screen in lane 4 is Shaun Jordan, even with Rice in lane 2, but the Rice swimmer still has another turn to go. He still has 50 as you see the flip turn. Jordan brings it home for Texas.
And there you can see Shaun swimming in. You can't even see him breathing. He's got such great stroke technique. Great finish for Texas.
Rob Hudak, Adam Worth, Doug Jurtson, and Shaun Jordan win it for Texas. 11 times the Longhorns are champions in the 400 freestyle relay. We'll take a break. Come back and look at some final results here in the Southwest Conference Swimming and Diving Championships. We are back at the Texas Swim Center here in Austin, Texas, but we'll go from water to hard court. Join us Friday from Reunion Arena in Dallas for the 1990 Southwest Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. The Houston Cougars and Texas Longhorns highlight our afternoon schedule with games at noon and 2:30. Then Arkansas begins defense of its title at 7, with Game 4 immediately following that. That's quarterfinal action from the 1990 Southwest Conference Basketball Tournament Friday on HSE. At the top of the screen, you see the diving well here at the Texas Swim Center. We have completed the tallies from all of the diving competition, and with our diving coach of the year is Kurt Anselmi. He's going to talk with Jim Stilson of SMU.
Jim, congratulations on this award, and or equally as important, congratulations on a 1-2-3 sweep tonight. Tell us about it.
Well, thanks a lot. It's really exciting to see all three of our divers do as well as they did. It was a good contest, real close. Shaun and Kevin right down to the last dive. Just the way it should be.
I know swimmers will be resting between now and NCAAs. What exactly does the diver do between now and nationals?
Well, we'll have two things going on next week. Two of the boys, Shaun and Kevin, will both have to compete next week again at the NCAA qualifying meet, which will mean getting right back up, being tough, and going again. Shaun will take, Scott will take it a little easy, and he'll start tapering a little bit for a peak.
We have an opportunity to take a look at one of Scott's dives. Describe this dive for us.
This would be Scott's inward 3.5. He's got a good takeoff, spinning well. He could probably be a little tighter in his tuck there, but he comes right around, gets a good look at the water, and fires out real strong to get that real good soft entry on the finish.
Well, once again, congratulations on your award. An outstanding tradition of at SMU has been kept up through this meet, and best of luck in the future.
Of course, Scott's going to graduate, and that's always a tough thing to deal with, but I tell you, Shaun and Kevin are both doing such a great job. We're going to have at least 2 more good years out of those kids, and hopefully we'll get another good diver in this year coming in as freshmen.
Well, congratulations once again. Jim Stilson, Diving Coach of the Year. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt, and again, congratulations to Jim Stilson, as he just has had an outstanding program in Dallas.
Both and the women and the men's, and they're, again, very valuable because they score critical points at the NCAA and conference levels.
We saw how important it is at conference to have good diving, as TCU has done an outstanding job here, and part of the reason that the Horned Frogs are able to do so well is the diving competition, where they get critical points at 4, 5, and 6 tonight in the platform event.
Well, they score points just like any swimming event does, and those points can favor or wander a team one way or the other.
Coach of the Year awards goes to SMU.
Eddie Sinnott was a longtime assistant under George McMillan, and he went and coached at Iowa State for a year, and he is now back as head coach of SMU and has done a wonderful job for the Mustangs.
Sinnott is in his first year with SMU, but he's no stranger to Mockingbird Lane. He was a former All-America swimmer there back in 1973 through 76. In fact, won the Southwest Conference title at 400 individual medley, a former assistant coach, and as you said, he went to Iowa State, where he just turned the Cyclones around, got him to a 3rd place finish in the Big 8 meet last year, and now returns to his alma mater to coach, and an outstanding award for Eddie Sinnott, as he is the winner of the Southwest Conference Swimming Coach of the Year. Standing by with him now is our own Kurt Anselmi.
Eddie, congratulations. Your first year at SMU. Describe your feelings and evaluate your team performance for it.
Well, our team did a hell of a job. I really didn't think we were prepared to do what we did, and it's a tribute to the seniors. They got a new coach. It would have been easy for them not to respond, and they did a great job of letting me be me, and our guys really rose to the occasion and swam with a lot of emotion.
You have 15 qualifiers right now going into the NCAA meet. What are you going to do between now and NC2A?
Well, I think our guys think we need to rest a lot, and I agree with them. I really believe our good swimming is still in front of us, and that's going to be our goal, is to improve upon this performance, which will be hard to do.
Well, Eddie, congratulations on a well-deserved award for both you and your diving coach.
Thanks, Kurt.
A 1-2 sweep and Coach of the Year for SMU. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt. Eddie Sinnott, Big 8 Coach of the Year last year. Now he's the Southwest Conference Swimming Coach of the Year. We'll take a break.
He's done a wonderful job with the Mustangs.
When we come back, more from Austin, Texas, the Southwest Conference Swimming and Diving Championships. The water is quiet here at the Texas Swim Center as the final event has been contested, and the University of Texas has won it one more time, the 400 freestyle relay. No surprise that Texas wins again tonight, because for 11 years, Texas has won the 400 freestyle relay. SMU second, Texas A&M overtakes the Horned Frogs for third place in that event, Arkansas, and then Rice in sixth. The Aggies overtake TCU in that event, but the standing is not enough to move them up in the final team standings. Texas, easily a winner for the 11th straight year in the Southwest Conference. SMU finishes second for the 11th straight year. TCU is third. A surprising meet for the Horned Frogs. Texas A&M in fourth, Arkansas, and Rice. And Tracy, when we look at the final results, 3 days of competition here, no surprise that Texas won, but we look at strong showings also from SMU and from TCU.
Well, Texas did have a strong showing. As always, they qualified the kids that they needed to qualify. However, SMU had a great meet and a great showing, and hats off to Richard Sievesma and the Horned Frogs, because they were in third place. First time they've been higher than fifth in their whole history of Horned Frog swimming.
For the University of Texas now, they look ahead. 3 weeks from tonight, 3 weeks ago, from a couple of nights ago, NCAA begins in Indianapolis. Two-time defending champions. Texas has to feel strong and feel confident going into that meet.
Yes, they do. They're the favorites. They swam well. They were led by their swimming sensation, Shaun Jordan, Jeff Thibault, and Kirk Stackle, all had outstanding meets for the Horns.
Shaun Jordan is the high point winner in swimming, 60. He was perfect, 3 of 3, and you can't do any better than that. And Eddie Reese certainly has a strong anchor man in Shaun Jordan.
That's right, and he's going to be counted on heavily for the Horns coming up in 3 weeks at the NCAAs.
SMU has to look strong as well. They are so strong in this event, in this meet, that I think they even surprise themselves.
Well, they're ranked in the top 20, and I think they'll stay there at the NCAA championships. We'll just have to see.
Part of the strength for the SMU Mustangs in this event is the diving competition. Let's get some final comments from our diving expert, Kurt Anselmi.
Joe, it's always exciting when you can see the best, and tonight that's exactly what happened. We had an opportunity to see Scott Donie finish out his career winning his 11th conference title. He swept the 1, the 3-meter, and the platform diving event. We also had an opportunity to see the strength of the SMU diving program. This is an outstanding diving team and an outstanding diving conference. You can expect big things from them at the national level. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Kurt, and thanks to Tracy Johnston for her help in this event, the Southwest Conference Men's Swimming and Diving Championships. Texas a winner. When we come back, we'll wrap it all up in 1 minute. Things begin to settle down now at the Texas Swim Center as the 1990 Southwest Conference Championship meet has come to an end. Let's take a look at some of the stars in this one. Shaun Jordan of the University of Texas, the high point swimmer. Jordan, a perfect 3 for 3 in his individual events. He won the 50 freestyle in a Southwest Conference record time, also won the 100-yard butterfly, and tonight added the 100-yard freestyle to his medal with another trophy. University of Texas puts one more up on the mantle. This is 11 straight for the Southwest Conference Championship team. Texas, the #1 team in the nation and a 2-time defending NCAA champion. High point diver Scott Donie of SMU, the senior from Houston Westchester High School, has won this event and won this award for 4 straight years. Donie adding the platform title tonight to the 1 meter and 3 meter crowns he won earlier in this meet. The executive producer of Home Sports Entertainment is Jack Stanfield. Tonight's championship action has been produced and directed by Mike Anastasiou. The associate producer is Murphy Brown. Technical director is TJ Bain. Engineer in charge, Dwayne Roberts. And remote facilities provided by Sportscom. Don't forget, great championship action continues on HSE next Saturday at 1:30 when we bring you the Southwest Conference Women's Basketball Championship game. Once again, congratulations to the Texas Longhorns, men's champions for the 11th straight year. For Tracy Johnston, Kurt Anselmi, and all of us at HSE, I'm Joe Chemis, saying so long from the Texas Swim Center in Austin, Texas. This has been an exclusive presentation of Home Sports Entertainment.